Alright, we're going to pick up with where we left off yesterday and talk about some of the early English settlements. So you already have the outline or the bullet in your outline that says that the first English ventures in North America failed, and this is mostly because of issues with financing, supplies, or harsh weather, and just a variety of other reasons. We're going to expand on that and talk about a specific example, and you probably have all have heard of this example before, Roanoke. So I want to kind of explain the story behind Roanoke. Sir Walter Raleigh was given a charter to send an expedition to Virginia. And this would actually be present-day North Carolina because those territories shifted over the years. So it's really to send an expedition to present-day North Carolina. So he sent an expedition of men, women, and children to Roanoke. So you can see that their plan was to actually settle and populate the area. That's why they're sending families. But circumstances were not good for the settlers living in Roanoke. And there were very tense conflicts between Native Americans and the colonists. So some leaders of the expedition are going to return to England to seek help. They're going to return to England to seek reinforcements and send for more people to come help defend the land against the natives. Unfortunately, these leaders are not able to return for 3 years. That's a pretty long time. And you all know the story. When they got back, there was absolutely no evidence of a colony at all. Roanoke had completely disappeared. The only thing that was left was the word Croatoan carved in a tree. And Croatoan is spelled Croatoan. This could be referencing some native group, but otherwise it's really a mystery as to what could have happened to these colonists. And so to this day, Roanoke is known as the Lost Colony. Okay, so let's talk about an example of an English settlement that was a success in the New World. And that, of course, is going to be Jamestown. So, in the early 1600s, the Virginia Company, which was just a British merchant company, sent an expedition to the New World. Now, they sent only men. So they didn't originally send women and children just yet. Only men, only traders. Traders, not traitors. Okay, so when they arrived, they settled in an area in Virginia. It was very swampy, and they named it Jamestown. And they named it Jamestown after King James I. The leader of this expedition was John Smith. And I know you're all remembering that great Disney movie because you all recognize that name. And there is definitely some historical accuracy in that film, but John Smith is not made out to be the, golden-locked, chiseled chin man that he is in the movie. In real life, he looks like he does if you look at your screen right now. Okay, so here's the thing. When they got to Jamestown, they immediately began looking for gold. They even began looking for gold before they, thought about planting food and looking for resources and building shelter. So their priorities were a little mixed up. And the truth is, the swampy area was very unsanitary, and the death rate in Jamestown was very, very high. So this is John Smith and Pocahontas on my screen right now, because you know that they're the main love interest in the movie, but in reality, Pocahontas did not marry John Smith. She marries John Rolfe. Actually, that does happen in the Disney movie, because I think that Pocahontas made a remake. They made a remake of Pocahontas, Pocahontas 2, which unfortunately was terrible, awful movie. But they try to correct their wrong there, because Pocahontas actually marries John Rolfe, and the reason I'm telling you that is not because you have to memorize that they get married, but John Rolfe is an important figure, because, as you know, things in Jamestown not going so well right now, since they really haven't planted the resources they need to survive, and the death rate's pretty high. John Rolfe is actually going to be our hero. He's going to come to the rescue because John Rolfe brought tobacco seeds into the Jamestown colony. He brought tobacco seeds. He basically comes up with the plan B. Since they're not finding the gold they need, he says, we need to do something else. So the tobacco actually becomes a cash crop in this settlement, meaning that Jamestown and the Virginia Company are able to make a lot of money off of tobacco. So Jamestown is saved from becoming another failed settlement. And it actually becomes the first permanent English settlement in the present-day U.S. And lastly, it also turned Virginia into a settler colony. Turned Virginia into a settler colony, meaning now families are going to start to migrate to the New World. They're really going to populate the Virginia area, and Virginia is going to be the first main British colony. Okay, so now we're going to stop with the notes in your outline. You are going to download the document called Mine Questions from Moodle, and you're going to reference the link I sent you earlier. You're going to watch this clip from Pocahontas and answer the questions. This document is due for homework. Make sure you submitted it before the first bell rings for your specific class period on Monday. You'll have a good weekend.